There has been a lot of reactions following the ruling made by the tribunal on Kathy Kilonzo, with court coming out and saying that she was being persecuted. Let's now talk to IEBC Commissioner Mohammed Alawi. He was also part of the 3-judge bench in the tribunal. Let's try and find out what the tribunal feels after the ruling and what it means right now. Now, welcome to KTN Prime.
Thank you very much.
I think the first question I'm going to ask you is, court has decided to go to the High Court. Can the High Court overturn the ruling? And what do you think when an accuser goes to the High Court? What are the implications?
Number one, yes, it may go to the court. It is within its right. But we made our ruling based on the evidence that was presented before us. And that evidence, those evidence were very clear. They were very clear for everyone to see, for the Kenyans to see. There were evidence that were adduced, not only from the mouth of the people who complained, but even from the mouth of the person who was accused. So it is perfectly well for them to go and seek relief to the High Court. But we as a committee on dispute resolution, we feel that we did the best that we could for the complainant and for the accused in that case.
But for them to go to the High Court, they feel that this case was construed. They feel that this case was not favorable for Kathy Kilonzo. How do you feel as a judge in the tribunal to have such a ruling?
Favorable, you may say yes, it may not have been favorable to her, but it's a decision that was made based on justice, based on the truth, and based on the evidence that was adduced before us. So that is what I believe, that after all these noises, and justice stand.
Looking at this, there's an issue of the stolen slip. There's an issue of invalid documents, which have raised questions of who really is a custodian of IEBC's voter registration. And court is saying that what is happening here is that IEBC is TNA, TNA is IEBC, and then there is an issue of politics coming in. The question now goes back to you. Who is the custodian of the IEBC's voter registration? Well,
the question does not come back to us. The question is a question of due diligence. Our register are out there for everyone to see. Our register can be accessed. All political parties do have IEBC register, voters roll. And any person who do any due diligence will have seen that Kathy's name was not in the register. But beyond that is that yes, we are custodian as the commission of all the voter materials. We are the custodian of the slips. We are custodian of the register. But that one does not take away that somebody can irregularly or steal from us. And that much evidence had been adduced that the issuance of that document was done in a way that is not regular. And it's for that reason that we have ordered, as a committee, investigation and a probe be done on how she was issued or how she acquired that slip.
But how did TNA find out about it? Because they say they knew about the stolen slip from the president, the former president that is, and they now know about the registration, which was also an anomaly in the IEBC's side.
For us as a committee, the first time it came to our attention is when the dispute was lodged. And the dispute was lodged by candidates, by citizens from Makueni, by voters from Makueni, and by a political party and political parties. And the IEBC is receptive of any complaint by any Kenyan citizen, no matter which leaning or shade he has. But for us is to take that complaint, look at it, interrogate it, look at the evidence that is placed before us, and make a ruling based on the evidence that is before us. As for the political stories and all that, we don't want to be part of that. We want to be independent. We believe we are independent, and we've been acting independently so far.
Okay, coming out of this whole scenario, if I could ask you, were you aware of Kathy Kilonzo's voter registration status before the tribunal?
No. I will say no. It came to us during the tribunal, and it was brought to us because IEBC, when we sit in the tribunal, we sit as an independent committee, an appellate to what the returning officers has done on the ground and all the evidence that was adduced. And you cannot know of a complaint before it is placed before you. Yes.
And so many people are saying that the IEBC should be the accused here. It turned out to be the judge in the whole scenario.
It is a good tactic to make the accused a victim and look for other people to bunch. But that one does not take away the truth. it does not take away the facts on the ground that the registration was not properly done. And that the person who must take responsibility are those people who actually present themselves for not what they are. And that's the most important thing. It is one thing to say IBC this, IBC that, but IBC did not present a candidate. IBC did not present itself. And IBC has come out clearly and strongly that we have looked at it. We have given Kenyans a chance to see how our committee on dispute resolution works, and all the evidence that has been adduced before the committee is left for any Kenyan in his right mind to see what will be the outcome of that.
Finally, Mr. Mohammed, do you feel that Kathy Kilonzo was persecuted, and is this a lesson to other politicians or even Kenyans per se?
I don't want to talk of Kathy Kilonzo. I want to talk to Kenyans, that any Kenyan who wants to present himself before an election, he must conduct himself in a way that will not jeopardize his reputation, his name, and he must make sure that you are properly registered. We registered Kenyan for 30 days. We sounded every village in this country. Please go and register. And it was free and easy to register in those 30 days. We further went and asked Kenyan to inspect their registration status, which mainly about 20 to 40% did. Yeah. So it is left for Kenyans to know that people must take the responsibility. We are taking our responsibility as IBC, and voters and registered voters and candidates and parties must conduct themselves in a way that is in accordance with the election law.
Thank you very much. Mohammed Alawi, an IEBC commissioner, talking to Katie.